Cool, creamy blondes. It's one of my favorite tones to create in the salon, and it's something that I get requests for all the time. But it really is such a flattering tone, and for me, I tell a lot of my guests that it's not really about being overly ashy and like smoky. To me, it's the difference between lemon meringue and vanilla ice cream. I'm Kelly Rettenberger, and I'm excited to be sharing with you the tools and the techniques that I use to bring someone into the softer side of being a cool tone blonde. Sort of that like cool, neutral leaning blonde, something that grows out super soft. But before we get into this, I want to remind you to subscribe to the Paul Mitchell Pro page so you don't miss out on future content. Okay, now let's go. Here's where we're starting with Lexi today. It's been about 3 months since she's been in for a blonding service, and I do keep her natural color at her base. Again, we're looking for something that grows out nicely, and it is fairly warm, which is another reason why I don't want to go too cool with this blonde. If it's too icy, it's really gonna make her natural outgrowth look that much warmer. So here we have a pretty standard 5-part sectioning. We have her mohawk section to the high point of the head, and then just dividing off behind the ear for the sides. And then in the back, I'm going to be taking diagonal back sections on each side. You can see that I'm starting these foils a little bit higher just to give that protection to those delicate baby hairs underneath. Now, our first formula is going to be Synchro Lift Plus with 20 volume. I'm going to be going through with a weave and then a teased weave. So we still are looking for predominantly bright blonde hair. So I'm definitely going to be doubling up these bright blonde foils. Formula 2 is where a lot of the softness and magic dimension comes in. This is going to be Color XG 30 grams of 9PN with 10 grams of 9N. So the PN series has that beautiful pearl finish, but it does have a neutral base, which is going to give me a bit of insurance and softness on Lexi's pre-lightened hair. I really love the soft pearlized look that this gives to the hair. So now moving into these front panels, I will be continuing that same sectioning, diagonal back, doing a weave and a teasy weave followed by a weave of that Formula 2. So here you can see our Synchro Lift is in the leopard foils, and then the Formula 2, the Color XG PN formula, will be in those rose gold foils. The Pearl Natural series is one of my favorites to use as low lights on blondes because it does give that beigey, creamy hue to the hair. It has just enough coolness to help knock out some of that yellow, but it gives more of that pearlized finish as opposed to a smoky ash. Here you can see I've applied the formula to the base and mid shafts and then going in and weaving out some of those ends. So some of these will be applied with the low light formula and some will be left out. So it just gives a soft finish to the edges. Working our way up into the mohawk section, I'm going to be switching to horizontal sections. Now, depending on the timing of your application, you might want to switch to Synchro Lift Soft with 30 volume. I went ahead and stuck with the 20 volume here, but I'm going to be going through with a fine baby light applied to the very top of that foil. This is going to give us some lightness and brightness all the way up to the base. And then after I do that baby light, we're going to be going back to back with a teased slice. So this is going to give us a bit more softness at the base, but allow for that brightness as we travel down that section. So we'll get a lot of blonde without it looking too stripy or chunky, and it'll grow out beautifully. Here you can see I apply and then just feather up as I go. Here's our finished application. You can see that as I travel towards the front, I switched to doing all Synchro Lift foils exactly how I said, a baby light and then a tease. Now going through after we have processed her hair is just slightly damp, and I'm going through with Paul Mitchell the Demi. Our back formula is going to be 30 grams of 9P with 5 grams of 7P. We're going to apply this to the base and mid shafts and leave the ends out for our next formula. So I added that little bit of 7P to really allow for that pearlized tone to come through. Remember that for the best successful toning, you do have to tone at or below the level of your starting canvas. If you're looking for further toning inspiration, I recommend checking out all the resources on Color HQ at pro.paulmitchell.com. Now moving into this front zone, I'm giving a quick spritz of Invisible Wear Boomerang Restyling Mist. This is just going to help rehydrate Lexi's hair and cut down on any static. Now we're going to go through with 15 grams of 9V and 15 grams of 9P. This will be applied to the base and mids in this section and then applied to all of the ends. We'll process for 15 minutes for this beautiful creamy end result. I think that this blonde definitely deserves its close-up. You can see how those low lights added that subtle pearly tone. It's creamy and cool without being overly ashy. But here is where the magic is. You can see the difference in this before and after. I love this shot. It just shows how a subtle shift can make such a big difference. She's pretty gorgeous, right? I might be biased, but I do love the way that this end result came out. It's such a flattering, neutral, leaning cool shade that still gives our guest the vibe of having cool hair, but it's very flattering, very soft, and it's a shade that almost anyone can wear. So I hope that you enjoyed the little tips that I shared with you. I recommend that you check out the great color resources we have at paulmitchell.com. Sign up for a pro account and you can dive deep into Color HQ and all of the other great opportunities that Paul Mitchell provides for us as hairdressers looking to be inspired. Thank you so much. I'm Kelly Rettenberger, and I will see you really soon.